There's a joke going on, and which is there was this guy walking down the street with his new Thai bride, and her daughter came along to the Faroe Islands, and they met another Faroese guy who said, "Did you double click?"
On the remote Faroe Islands, a tranquil and isolated country, sat lonely between the Norwegian and Atlantic Ocean, there is a nationwide population crisis. Each year, an increasing amount of young women leave the country in pursuit of prosperous careers in mainland Europe, leaving over 2,000 single men on the island. This has caught the attention of international media, as many of these men find relationships blossoming in the most unlikely of places, Southeast Asia.
When you come here, you expect to see, white men and then Filipino or Asian women everywhere, which is just not the case at all. So that's probably the extent of how misrepresented Faroese people feel. The feeling is that when Danish television, for example, comes to the Faroe Islands, it's very often, you have some sort of journalistic angle, and you have to sort of nurture that angle, but it becomes such a primary thing that very often the fact that the Faroe Islands are a very modern place with extremely modern infrastructure compared to how few people live here, and that part of society doesn't get covered at all, because media from outside the Faroe Islands are very interested in the extremes of society, so they go to the most extreme periphery of the Faroe Islands and find like a very sort of a very interesting case of some kind.
But hundreds of Asian women are moving to these subarctic islands between Norway and Iceland, amid a shortage of local women.
There is a deficit of women. Quite often it's attributed to most women go overseas to study and they don't return. Faroese men are, I would say, travelers, because they travel all around the world, and I think we find actually younger Faroese men are finding themselves in intercultural relationships, whether they're from Asia or from America. Yeah, there has been a lot of international media in the Faroe Islands. We had BBC, Al Jazeera, and also we had some Danish TV programs. The focus has been the Thai and the Filipino communities, or the Southeast Asian women. I would say it's been a very fixed narrative from the start that Faroese men need women, and then these women need a place to go. So somehow it was out of needs base.
But regarding the journalists, it's just not what they put in the titles.
That was not what the interview was about.
Yeah.
The headline was about importing women to Faroese men to get married.
It's like you import and you order them online and click it. Yeah, can you import this for me?
This is not an import-export business.
I want this beautiful. How much it will cost?
So,
when you think about it, why are they saying that?
Yeah, I have a question also. I will ask you, why you interesting we are from Asian to have a family here in Faroe Island, but I didn't know why to increase or whatever, because we don't know. We just know our story. We don't know other people's story. We met each other here. We make friends here, so we don't know each other, and then we just be friend here, make friend here. So we're not like, oh, just come to Faroe and yay, because people need. No, we never say that. But some story tell like we are moved to Faroe Island a lot. It make sound like scary to the people, like, oh, they will come to take over our country, something like that. We're not that, that BBC is make us feel like that.
It was almost like a commercial, or like a it was like giving the impression that we are shopping for wives. And that is what she is very angry and scared about at the same time.
Moving over 12,000 kilometers across the world shows dedication and commitment. Coupling the often sensationalized media attention with the daunting process of making the move, it can be a very emotionally draining and demanding experience. However, it isn't without its rewards.
It's very normal in every country, I think. It's not only Faroe Islands who import foreign women or men. There are also men being married to Faroese women.
So why you married Asian?
I married an Asian because I fall in love with you.
Oh.
Very simple.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think a program and definitely an article which I read myself. And when I read the article, I felt that the title was really sensationalized. And it made it look like every foreign woman in the Faroes, actually, particularly if she's Asian extraction, you know, somehow bought into the Faroes. And I just find that really insulting. I think it gives a really bad idea of the mentality of the Faroese men and the culture here. You know, some people integrate really well. And they come into Faroese families. They're made very, very welcome. Their husbands are tremendous supports. They learn the language. They have got into very, very good jobs. But we also know of women who've come and they haven't been made welcome by the families. And actually, some of them have been, you know, badly treated by the families, not welcome, not accepted. We know as well some women who come in and maybe discover that the man whom they thought was Prince Charming was an alcoholic.
Antoinette, your experience in your workplace?
Oh, they're very nice. There.
Yeah.
I work with a very old woman. Some of them don't know how to speak
She's a nurse.
English.
Yeah. Antoinette is a nurse.
Or they will come and what the hell?
Yeah, mostly Faroese
they're very,
people,
very helpful.
Nice, yeah.
Although I'm there to help them, they're also helping me in a little way, so it's good.
Different Faroese have different views of us foreigners, especially Filipinos, because there are a lot of Filipinos who came and married to a Faroese. It's quite different. And when I came here, and they look at me like, from what country are you? Philippines. Oh, and they, you know what, they look at me, you're not living with a heap of garbage? I said, what? I was so like,
being generalized.
you know what? I've been to different countries. Where have you been? You've been from, or maybe to other places aside Faroe Islands? No? Oh, okay, I'm not surprised.
We met in a website 2011 and then we started chatting. But it's funny though because I'm living and working in Singapore at the time and I think you're here in Faroe Islands.
Yeah, I was here, yeah.
And I asked him, so where are you from? And he said Faroe Island. So I never heard. I'm thinking about these pharaohs in Egypt.
Yeah,
oh my God, he's living in Egypt. So we become friends. And he's inviting me to go in Malaysia for a holiday. But I said no, because why should I go with him in Malaysia? I never met the person personally. So it's just... It takes us, yeah?
She said no thank you. So.
No thank you.
And she has been here, it's 7 years now.
8 years.
8 years. See, she knows better. We met in summer of 2007, married almost 18 months later.
10-year anniversary next year in Thailand. So we will go back to the same hotel that we have dated and also we married in that hotel.
And she visited once prior to moving here, so
I visit Faroe Island before we married. Today is the party of greeting. Every year we have a Christmas party. So today we do our party. We have a meeting. Everybody who can come, they can join with their food, with their something to drink, and then we share and we drink, we singing, and after that we dance and sing. And sometimes it can be over the night until 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I used to roll the dice, feel the fear in my enemy's eyes, listen as the crowd would sing. Now the old king is dead, long live the king. 1 minute I held the king, next the walls were closed on me, and I discovered that my castle stand upon pillars of salt and pillars of sand. I hear Jerusalem.
Har fått komma fra universitetet i London. Enda det prosjektet som
So it's your face.
mamman som startade. Bye bye. They were pleased that I found such a lovely person. And they were even more pleased when they met her. Where she was from, that it didn't no matter for them. Religion or race or anything. In our, we have been quite open.
5 of December 2008, we have a ceremony at 6 of December.
So from that day, I think we had some 2,000 pictures. So.
Yeah, that's in the morning. We have
This is for the ceremony. And my wife said at the time, if her mother had her way and we had the wedding up at the farm, we would not settle for 200 guests. That would probably be 700 guests. So when we returned to Faroe Island, my mother made a small party, only 50 guests,
And this is-
at her home.
There's a picture I like, you can have it.
That's the only way you can say that yes, I'm part of this island now, because now it's our home. We have our own house here, or they have their own kids. This is maybe this is the place where we going to die, so we need to be part of it. And it's only the willingness of one person to be part, and how you call this, to be in love and part of the society. It's the willingness to learn.
That's why, as much as possible, I try to reach out and try to join in the society's activities, to learn the language, to learn the culture, to be in the part of this society, because it's our decision to be here. Your love is here. You married your soulmate, you married a man, a Faroese, and you decided to say, yes, I do, I love you, and you have your family, you have your son, you have the family of your husband is part of your family. That's our belief. So we have to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.